Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I've got some new crafty goodies to show you today. These have been sent to me by a company called FG Normal, based over in China. They contacted me just recently and said they'd like to send me some products to review on my YouTube channel and let all my viewers know what I think of them. So I haven't paid for these products, but it will be an honest review. They're looking really good. I will leave a link to FG Normal in the description box below, and I'll be back. I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to unpack them basically today, and then I'll come back and do some projects with them over the next couple of weeks. I let them know what my choices were. They just let me choose from their website. Let me quickly show you their website actually. So here we go. This is what it looks like. They're big into this diamond painting, you know, where you get the little separate little crystal things to stick on. I have had a couple of goes at that in the past and really quite enjoyed it, but I'm not particularly into it now. I wouldn't, you know, I know a lot of people love doing it, and I did enjoy it the couple of times I did it. But they've got all sorts in here, absolutely masses, and you can get customised ones and everything, and they seem to be really good prices. I was quite impressed that once I'd let them know what my choices were, the goods arrived with me within 10 days or a couple of weeks, so that's pretty good. It looks like you get free shipping on orders over 40 quid. If, like me, you're not interested in the diamond painting, they also have cross-stitch kits, and there's embroidery tools and things in there as well, scissors and needles and things like that. There's also painting by numbers, which I quite fancied some of the painting by numbers. Yeah, some of these are quite good. Ooh, that one's weird, isn't it? You don't know if it's an eye or a tree. But yeah, there's some lovely ones there. Yeah, I do quite enjoy a bit of relaxing painted by numbers occasionally. More crafts, so you can get wax seals and things like that. If you do UV resin moulding and things like that. This one's interesting to me. So they call it weaving series, but when they say weaving, they include crochet and knitting, and it all gets called weaving. So this is quite an interesting section for me. That's just a quick look at their website. So should we go to the desk and have a look at the goodies? I haven't taken them out of their bags, but I think they look pretty good. Where appropriate, I'll just try them out quickly to make sure everything works and what have you. So let's have a look, and I've written the prices on them this time to make things a bit easier. Let's just shrink my head a bit. If you're a regular viewer, you might have noticed that just recently I did, I think, a couple of videos getting back to some of my paper crafting I used to love to do. I used to do a lot of card making. I was just recently making some stamped and die cut cards again, and I just reminded myself how much I love it, so I cannot wait to have a go with some of these goodies. Now this one I'm particularly excited about, especially given, I might as well take it out of the bag, given all the swaps that have been going on just recently. We've got a new swap starting in November, so I think I can make some lovely cards and things to go with my swaps with this set. So this set includes the stamps, and I love that, it's all snail mail related. So it includes the stamps and the dies to cut out the stamped images, and some extra dies like a tiny envelope and some frames that look like stamps. I think that is brilliant. This is a really, really fun set. And the dies and the stamps was £5.99. I think that's fantastic value. To be honest, even if you only ordered them and ended up paying a £5 for postage for just over £10, I still think it would be worth it. But yeah, really excited to have a go with those, and I'll test these out in a minute just to make sure they work. So yeah, those were £5.99. And then I got some other dies as well. I love dies, you can just do so much with them. So this one cuts out this kind of square grid, and you can do all sorts of things. You can put little pattern papers in there. You can actually cut thin fabric and felt with these metal dies as well. I'll show that in a minute. So yeah, you can cut out this grid, put little creatures or little symbols like hearts and things inside all of the squares, or just, you know, bits of pattern paper or whatever. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do with this, and I'm really looking forward to doing a couple of projects using this. It's one of those basic ones that you can put together with all the other stamps and dies that you've got, and do something new with them. So yeah, really excited to give that one a go. And these are again oh, and I forgot to say how much that one was. Hang on. So that's £2.99 for that one. These words I love these big blocky words. I just think they're brilliant. You can cut out several layers and stack them together to get a really chunky greeting. So that one says hugs, this one says hello, and this one is a little smaller and it says thanks. $1.99 these two, $1.99 each for those two, 99p for that. Absolutely brilliant. And again, bearing in mind that you can cut felt and fabric with these as well. They're not really intended for that, but they do it. I don't think it will cut every kind of fabric, but I've definitely cut like thin cotton with a backing on it, with like a iron-on backing on it, and I've cut felt with them lots and lots of times with these thin dies. That makes them so much more versatile. So those will be great to play with. And then these, I love these. So you've got the word. In a minute I will cut these out so you can see. You've got the word and then the outline of the word. So you can see this one says beautiful friend. They look much nicer when they're cut out. You can't really see what they look like here. Beautiful, friend, wonderful, and what does that one say? I think it says awesome. We'll see when I cut it out. And sometimes if you've got a lovely background, if you've been, the main focus of your card is a beautiful background and you just want a sentiment, a word on there as a focal point, it's nice to have that background to make the word stand out against your busy background. So, and yeah, all kinds of different techniques you can do using this combination of the word and the outline. So that's that. I will cut all them in a minute so you can see. Oh, didn't say how much that one was. $1.99 for all four. Oh, it's brilliant. Really impressed with that. Now, if you're into the stamping, and if like me you have a stamping platform, you find yourself going like this quite a lot with the heel of your hand, and if you're doing a lot it can get to be quite hard work. So I've been after one of these for quite a while. I've seen other people with them, and I know people make homemade versions of things. They call this a stamping pressure brush. Now I'm assuming I have to peel this off and stick it on there. So the idea is you've got something that you can easily apply pressure to that stamp. I'm assuming I have to peel this off and stick it on there. Should we give it a go? And then I'll maybe stamp these out for you to see. Oh, it's very, very sticky. Why do I have to sniff everything? I don't know. Put this on carefully. Brilliant. Yeah, we'll give that a go in a minute. Oh, so the stamping brush was, I keep forgetting, don't I, $1.99. And I imagine I either won't like it at all, or if I use it I won't ever have to buy another one. It's going to last me for years, isn't it? I suppose eventually maybe that felt will wear out, don't know, but easily replaced. And then finally, just a little treat I thought would be really fun. This is a quilling set, and it's, I think this is only $2.99, was it? Yeah, $2.99, and you get everything you need in here. So again, if you're a regular viewer, you might have seen that Johnny of Just Johnny Creations, he and I swap what we call an UR box every so often. It's like an occasional thing when we've got time, really, where we send each other a box of crafting supplies. Just a challenge to try something different, and we have a £10 budget for it. And he sent me, basically what the box that he sent me last time was all about quilling. He set me a challenge to create something for Christmas in July, which apparently is a thing. And I had a brief go at quilling years ago, but I hadn't done any for ages, so that got me into it. I quite enjoyed it, and I made my husband an anniversary card with it as well. So when I saw this, saw that they had some quilling kits on FG Normal, I thought, let's have a look at that, because I thought this looked really cute. And probably, if I put my mind to it, I can get this finished in time for next year's anniversary. Maybe. So, okay. So we get all of the, now it's a bit of a shame that that's squashed. I can probably still make it usable. So you've got all of the colours that you need. Where's the picture? Oh, that's a shame. There isn't. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's not very big, but can you see? There we go. I think that could look really nice. And they There's not much in the way of instructions, and they're very small. I've got more chance of reading them on the camera than with my naked eye. So they're sort of giving you the rough... for the picture name, it is proper noun and difficult to translate, but can ask customer to see his picture below. I think basically what they're saying is, you know, go by the diagrams. Yeah, that's fair enough. There are lots and lots of tutorials on YouTube to tell you how to do all these things. They're telling you roughly what kind of shapes you need to make to complete this, and they're giving you the template to follow. So I think that will be really fun. I think I will really enjoy doing that. I don't think I'm going to be making on here though, because this is clearly quite crumpled, which is a bit of a shame. The whole thing, the whole parcel did come packaged, a bit like you get with Temu. It's the same thing. AliExpress is the same thing. They will just put them in these plastic bags. So it's a little bit potty, you know, if you've got something like this which will be damaged by crushing, that could happen. So you need to bear that in mind. I don't think there's anything here that I can't get round. So with this, what I'll do is I'll get another piece of, I'll trace this, I'll get another piece of paper, transfer it onto that, a nice piece of paper. I won't do it on this anyway. I mean, that might be what you're meant to do, use it just as a template, because then I could keep that and use it again, couldn't I? So that's fine. I'm not bothered about that at all. Let's just have a quick look. I'm very impressed that you get these tools. So you've got the kind of pokey tool, which is a really handy thing to have when you're quilling. You've also got the little quilling tool with the split. I don't know if the camera will focus to let me show you that. There we go. So you just put the edge of the paper, fits into that slot, and then you just twizzle. And the little pair of tweezers, very handy again when you're quilling. And this very nice circle template for getting all the different sizes of cords. I think I'm pretty impressed with that. I'll use this for other things too. It's got a ruler on it, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that for $2.99. You can't really argue with that, can you? And I will quite look forward to having a go with that. I think that could look really pretty. So that will be a future video, or we'll come back and do a speed tour of it maybe, because it's a very laborious process. These need to go back in here, and then I'll just cut the dies and stamp the stamps for you so you can see. Let's just stamp these images for you to see. Obviously you don't have to have a stamping platform like this. You can just use a normal stamping block to do it with. I've got this thing, and I just think it's such a godsend to have this. There we go. Let's use this small scrap of cardboard. Waste not, want not. And I'm just going to just use some black ink. The first time you ever use a stamp, it can be a little bit sketchy. Some people like rub their hand over it first when it's a new stamp, or wipe it with various things, baby wipes or whatever. I just sort of stamp it a couple of times and then it's alright, which is easy to do when you're using a stamping platform like this, because when you stamp it back down, it automatically goes back over the same bit. So this is where, if you want to put pressure on, you can use your stamping pressure brush and do that. Marvellous. Which, when you've got a big image, that's going to be really handy. I've missed a bit down in the corner. Quite nice. I'm going to move this further up, not quite so near the edge of my stamping platform. Very cute, isn't it? How cute is she? I'm not going to worry about I mean, you can see how they're gonna come out. I absolutely adore those little snail characters. I think this will be really useful as well. I'd enjoy painting that or colouring it in various ways, and I think this to add to my Happy Mail packages would be brilliant. So let me just show you how they cut out. To use the metal dies, you do need a die cutting machine. You can get really little dinky ones now. This is my old faithful Cuttlebug. I've had it for so many years, I think since 2006 or 7. I think it cost me $34.99 and it's just such a little soldier. So you need your die cutting machine, whatever you've got, and whatever sandwich of cutting plates that your machine needs to cut thin metal dies. So for me that's my base plate, my A plate, my thicker C plate and the thinnest B plate. And when you first use them, you've got to take them all apart. Usually you can just break them apart. Sometimes you'll need a little pair of snips just to get the dinky ones out. I love that you've got these little hearts here as extra sort of inside the snail shape, because you can just use the hearts as a separate thing in all kinds of projects, can't you? A little heart is always a handy little motif, and it would be one of those things that would be quite nice inside these little frames. Yes, I'm just going to cut this out first. I've got this shape as well. This shape will cut. Hang on. So if you look like that, that shape is going to cut out the stamped speech bubble. I love just that little hello word is so useful. I will use that such a lot. I love you snailed it. So that one cuts out all the little toadstools there, and then this one will cut out the little this other little snail. Just love that. I guess that will cut out the hello word, and this one will cut out the happy mail in a stamp shape, which I love. And I love that this frame is like it's perforated around the edges, like so it'll look like a stamp. I think it's amazing. So I could make my own little stamp with a snail on it, or with the mushrooms in it. Oh, how cute. There's so many projects I can get out of this one set, seriously. Right, let's pull all these apart. So sometimes you need a little pair of snips to help you with that, but these seem to be coming apart fine. So I'm going to just cut these out first, just out of a plain piece of card, because then I can just use that as a jig. I'll show you in a minute, to help me cut out the stamped images accurately. To one side so I don't lose it. Oh no, let's keep it there because I'm going to want it again. So it's wobbly now. So now I want to cut out these images. But it can be quite hard to place them really accurately, to make sure that you've got a nice even border all the way around. You don't want it going off to one side. So to make sure you cut it evenly, what you can do is, I'm using this little piece, this one that I've already cut, and I'm just lining it up so I've got an even amount of that kind of negative space all the way around my snail. Then I can just pop my die into it. You can feel it kind of click into place. There we go. So I know that is really accurately positioned now. And then you can either leave it, send it through like that, or if you cut a little slit in it like this, you can take it out of the way. Which if you're embossing as well can be a godsend. So then I just need to put a little piece of tape on to hold it in place. Should have had my little piece of tape ready. There we go. And I can send that through and cut it. So now when I take that out, you can see that it's cut it out with a perfect, you can see that it's cut it out with a perfect border all around. My camera doesn't want to focus, but there we go. So that's a really handy little tip, that. So what I will tend to do is stamp the whole thing on the base of my card, then I'll cut out the snail and I'll mount that up, so then you've got the words underneath, and it'll give it a bit of 3Dness. There are so many different ways I can use these. Having the stamps with the matching dies, it just gives you so many possibilities. So this one I'll send it through with it, with it still inside. So there we go. I'm just placing my placing my little frame that I've already cut so it's even all around. I would get my head over it and do it properly, but I wasn't trying to film it. Put a little bit of tape on to hold it, and let's just cut those little hearts as well while we're at it. And it's nice if you want to do a lot of hearts. It's really nice to be able to cut more than one at a time. It is a huge time saver. Another thing I like to do is to stack pieces together. So if I cut both these hearts sort of a couple of times and glue them all together, I'd have quite a nice deep, quite a nice chunky little embellishment, which is always quite nice to do. And here's the cut out Happy Mail piece. A little stamp. How cute is that? And of course you colour it and everything however you like. Probably don't need to cut all of these pieces really, but just cut a few so you can kind of see how they turn out. Love this little piece. So you can just cut the greeting out, and it's got like a stitched border. Brilliant! Gonna have so much fun with these, and I love the idea of this little envelope. Let's cut that as well. I'll cut all the pieces and use them all in the projects I've got in mind in upcoming videos, but this kit is reasonably short and sweet today. Let's just cut these in, kind of see how these work if you've not seen them before. Poke those bits out. I must say the dies are cutting absolutely beautifully. So that's quite a heavyweight card. It's a Basil scrapbooking card, so yeah, reasonably heavyweight card. Look, it's just making such a good job of it. Lovely finish, really nice, no problem at all. Can't do those sort of quite intricate shapes actually, and I just love that. I just think that's gorgeous. Bearing in mind, as I say, you can cut felt and things with these as well, so think of those possibilities. Oh, and of course the other thing you can do is cut something like this out of two colours, save the pieces that come out and pop them back, kind of inlay them back in to get a contrasting colour. That's really fun as well. There are just so many things I can do with this set. Absolutely brilliant. Let's see what this little stamp, kind of stamp effect frame comes out like. And also let's cut the little dinky envelope too. Instead of going straight through as I did with that one, just put this slightly on the diagonal as it goes through. It just passes through the machine a little easier if you feel like your machine's bonking at it a little bit. Oh, that has cut just beautifully. Really nice, really happy with that. It's always a bit of a concern when these companies send you things, you know, things to review. You haven't paid for them, but I wouldn't want to give you a dishonest review. If I thought these things were rubbish, I would say so. So it's always a bit of a relief when they turn out to be okay. Oh, look how adorable! How adorable is that? Oh, you could put a tiny message in there. Oh, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love it. I think that's really cute. And here's the little frame. Oh, I thought. Oh, yes, I was being daft there. Yes, of course. I was thinking that was going to cut out the frame, but it's not. It's going to be like a mount, isn't it? So yeah, this should have been obvious really. And if you can see here, there's these two little dinks out of there and there. That's because I haven't bothered to get my snips out and snip off these little toggles here, which I need to do clearly before I use this properly. So that's those, and we might as well cut those other words and things that I was showing you as well beforehand, so you can see how they work. So this is where, instead of putting it straight through, if you put it slightly diagonally, sometimes the machine sort of prefers that, you know. Got have to make a lot of creaking and groaning noises, these machines, and you think, oh, what have I done? But just, it's meant to sound like that. There we go. So there's my hello word. Again, beautifully cut. And you can see what I mean. If you cut this out 3 or 4 times and glue them together, you get quite a nice chunky word, chunky embellishment out of it, which I think really adds to it. You can even cut them out of different colours so you get like a shadow effect. That's really nice. And you can, well, I'm not even going to start. There are so many techniques with die cuts that you can do, so definitely watch this space if you're interested in stuff like that. So let's say I cut the outline in this pink, and I'll cut the word out in the green. It might cut through both layers there, who knows. We'll soon find out, won't we? Oh look, it's inlaid itself into that pink paper, look. It's amazing. Love that. It looks like it has cut the pink as well. No, not quite. I'd have to go through again with that, but that's fair enough. That's a lot of layers. So the idea is, I don't think you'd necessarily choose this combination of colours, but the idea is that you line them up, glue the word on top of the outline, and it just makes it really stand out against that busier backgrounds and things. It just adds a little something to it. You can also cut that shape out so that the word shows through from another layer. There's so many things you can do. If it doesn't cut like that, you can send it back through really easily because the die will snap itself into place. If you just feel, yeah, there we go, that's snapped into place now. Tape that on. Send it back through. This is how I would maybe stack them up to give me a bit more depth, or even just to show a bit of contrast colour. You can also put a double-sided kind of backing on before you put the card through. Put it onto the back of the card you're going to cut before you put it through, and then you can peel it off and it's automatically sticky, so you haven't even got to worry about adding glue. There we go. So I don't think that's gonna. So you would line them up like that, stick 2 or 3 layers together like that, and you'd get one chunky word. Can you see what I mean though? It's hard to show you under the camera and it's not focusing, but I will come back and do some proper projects showing all of the different things you can do with these lovely die cuts and things. Like some people, if you've been dithering over whether to get one of these die cutting machines for years, I'd say go for it. I don't even know what they cost now. I think when I was working in the craft shop, so that was last year, I think one this size would have been about sort of 50 quid now, but still I've had years and years and years of use out of this. I have got a bigger one as well that I can put a whole A4 sheet through, but I tend to use this one because it's handy and convenient and it fits on my desk. So that's all of my goodies from FG Normal. I'll put a link to their website, so have a good look. It seems like, from what I can tell, it seems to come relatively quickly. They are just packed in that bag, so be a little bit wary if you're going to order anything fragile. I don't know, they always just come in a bag. I can't speak to that. And I don't know what the postage costs if you don't go over the £40, but seeing as you get free postage for over 40 quid, I think it seems pretty reasonable. I believe they post to anywhere in the world, and they seem to come pretty speedily as well. So yeah, I will be back over the next couple of weeks with some projects using those goodies. All kinds I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas just from that snail stamp and die set, and I can make some lovely things to go with my next lot of swaps. So we're looking forward to that. Right, okay, I'm going to stop now because I've been going on way too long about that. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're interested in more sort of paper crafting type videos, because it's something I used to do a lot of and I really enjoy it. They are quite fiddly to film, so if nobody's interested, I won't bother. But I do enjoy doing it, and I've got lots of ideas. She is very sweet. I do love that. Okay, thanks very much for joining me today, and I will see you again really soon. Bye. It's getting hot in here now. We're in another heat wave. Dawn will laugh, but to me, we're nearly 30 degrees today. That is a heat wave. Really going up.